Mm, everything I love. Mm. Hi, back in my kitchen, and today we're going to make one of my very favorite treats, chocolate covered cherries. It's been a favorite of mine since I was a child, so let's get into it and hope I can make something that I'm going to love. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I kind of look at recipes and get an idea and get a feel for how things work, and once I kind of understand the concept, I don't really follow recipes all that well. I try for this channel to use recipes, but I'm going to be honest here, I'm kind of winging this one. This is how I operate in my kitchen, and I want to empower you to feel free in your kitchen too. So I'm going to just tell you what I'm doing and approximately what I'm using. So this is a couple of tablespoons of, well, this is vegan basil. You would use butter, but it needs to be room temperature. You don't want it to be super cold because you want it to mix with the icing sugar. So right now we're making the coating for the cherry. So we're going to take a cherry, we're going to wrap it in a beautiful sweet coating, and then we're going to dip it in chocolate. Got the butter, and I'm going to use a couple tablespoons of this maraschino cherry juice for more liquid. And I'm going to use, of course, some of my homemade vanilla. If you're not making vanilla, you should be. Got lots of videos on that. I don't usually measure. I'm just going to pour a bit in. I don't want it to overpower my cherry at all. I'm going to mix this up. I might just mix this little part by hand. I just want it to be all incorporated. And I'm going to mix in, I've got 2 cups of icing sugar. Well, actually I have a little more than that. I'm going to just see how much I need as I go. Again, you know, I just kind of play around. I'm just going to add a little bit in here to get started. Okay, so I ended up dumping in the rest of the icing sugar, and it's looking pretty good. It looks pretty firm. Oh yeah, that's great. I can definitely work with this. And I love the pink color. I'm gonna pull this all the way out onto my counter. My 2 favorite treats, candies really, I guess, are chocolate covered cherries and peppermint patties. And I made a video about peppermint patties just a little while ago. And oh my goodness, seriously, that recipe, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you like peppermint patties, go to that recipe. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this in, I don't know. People say to cool it, but you know what? It's pretty firm. I think I'm okay with it. What I'm going to do is divide it up into 24 little sections because I've got 24 little cherries to cover. So I'm just going to try and make it a nice even-ish 24. This little cutter thing I got, it's for making sourdough. I love this thing. It's so handy to have. I'm going to link this in the description if you're interested in this because I don't know, I use it a lot. I really like it. I'm going to make these guys all straight. I'm just going to cut them into third-ish. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll these into little balls and get them ready for use to wrap my cherries in. I do need a pan. I'll line it with parchment paper. And I am going to need to freeze these. I do know this from my peppermint patty making is that it tends to melt if you don't have it nice and cold. So what I'm going to do is get the cherries in these, and I'll pop them in my freezer and let them get nice and cold, and then I will dip them in the chocolate. So now I'm just going to flatten these little guys out. Make a nice little patty. Pop a cherry in and roll it around. Just want to get that cherry all the way covered. You don't want any holes. All right, I'm just going to roll that again. Gently, it's going to get covered with chocolate. All right, one done. Here, the ones in the bottom are actually sitting in juice, which I kind of wanted. They say to dry them, but I also think that if they're more juicy, they might get liquid inside faster. Now, I don't know if any of these are actually going to make it long enough to turn into liquid inside. I guess it takes a couple of weeks, but oh, I'm springing holes. I guess that is the downside with having it liquidy, is that you're going to get liquid coming out. Well, hopefully I've got those holes sealed up. You know what? This is the way to learn in the kitchen. You just keep doing stuff, you know. I just want to empower you to not be afraid in the kitchen. You know, just try different things. I mean, worst case scenario is this doesn't turn out perfectly, but you know what? It's still going to be tasty. I say I don't use recipes, but I kind of follow, you know, sort of accepted methods. Like, you know, I make a lot of bread. I make sourdough. And I have sort of like a base that I use. And I know I like this percentage of flour to this percentage of water, to this percentage of starter, to this percentage of salt. Those are the 4 things I put in it. It's not exactly precise. You know, there's so many methods of making sourdough. Oh my goodness, if you look it up, there's just a million ways to make it. And you know what I figured out? It just doesn't matter. Sure, if you make it exactly the way that, you know, one person says, it might be ever so slightly better texture or whatever. But you know what? I just find that in general, it just doesn't matter that much. I mean, if you just keep making it, I find you just get better and better and better at it. Maybe the texture's not what you would want, but the taste is good. I just want you to feel free to just play in the kitchen, you know? Just try new things. It's the only way to get better, really, in my opinion. So now we're gonna melt chocolate while those cherries get cold and frozen in the freezer. And I'm gonna melt chocolate to dip them in. So I often just buy the Great Value dark chocolate at Walmart because it's vegan. And like I've said 1,000 billion times, I'm vegan. But I found some Lindt that's also vegan. I bought 3 of these. I'm gonna start with these. I think I'm probably gonna need about 400 grams. The thing with chocolate, you just want to melt it slowly over a double boiler. And that to me sounds intimidating, like it used to sound intimidating, but it's super easy. All you need is a pan with a little bit of water in it. You want that water to simmer, and then you just put a bowl that fits on top, but you don't want the bowl to touch the water. You put the bowl on top, and it just gives it a nice warmth, because you have to be careful with chocolate or else it will seize, and it's bad. Seizing means bad. You don't want that to happen. So let's do that. I might have to try a piece just to make sure it's good, right? Quality control. Okay, so my pan is just gently, barely simmering, and that's gonna be perfect, I think. So I'm just gonna put my chocolate in here. I'm just gonna muck around until it gets all the way melted. Okay, nice and melted. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so I've got my chocolate. I'm going to grab my cherries from the freezer. I hope they're frozen enough now. I think that one of the keys to doing this is speed. You want to be pretty quick. This little technique I've got going to chocolate, or to cover them, it works pretty well. It's my little spatula. Try not to get too much on that fork. The chocolate's hardening up on those first ones already. I might go over them a second time. The chocolate's pretty thin on these, and you may have noticed that I do really love my chocolate. Now, when I made my peppermint patties, I didn't want the chocolate to be too thick because I'm also obsessed with peppermint, and I really wanted it to be more about the peppermint. But with these, I feel like there's, you know, a good chunk of it already is cherry. I can see some of them now that I've turned them around where I can see the coating is showing. So I'm definitely going to re-roll that one at least. You know, I almost didn't use the 4th chocolate bar. I was thinking, maybe it's not needed. And then I thought, I don't want to run short. I hate running short. But I think I could have done without the 4th chocolate bar is what I'm getting at. Okay, it's only been a few minutes, but I can't wait anymore. I'm going to try one. I haven't tried one at all yet. So I'm going to try one of these, and I'm going to try to save one for later on to see if it'll get liquidy inside. Okay, let's do that. So far, so good. Yeah. Oh, that is so good. It's giving me other ideas of things I can do with it too. I really like coconut. I feel like a little coconut would be really good in here too. All right, I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And If you like this one, you'll probably also like this one or this one. I'll meet you there. Bye for now. Oh, that's so good.